Nation of Fit and 10, welcome to day 43, the first day of the last 4 weeks of this challenge. And I just emphasize the 4-week mark just simply because this is the point where things seem to go even faster. We go 4 weeks, 3 weeks, and then before you know it, we're into the teens and finally single digits. Reminder, your next scan is coming up next week. An accumulated 20% fat loss. So take advantage of every day, do your best, and if you need help, please just ask me. Today, I want to talk to you about a few different protein powders. I know I've already done a video on protein powder. I'm going to revisit it. I'm going to revisit some of the stuff I talked about from that video. But I had a really good question, and this is actually something that I failed to talk about on previous videos I've done from other challenges, and that is the amount of protein per serving size. Now, some of you may already know what I'm about to say, but quite often somebody will come to me, I just had somebody a couple days ago say, okay, this protein powder has this much protein per serving, and it has more than this other protein. But the question is not the amount of protein you're getting per serving. You want to look at the protein density, because you can have a serving of any size. You can have a giant serving. You could have, this whole thing could be your serving, and you're going to get like 2,000 grams of protein. Okay, the serving size can be anything. It can be a massive scoop the size of your car. It's not the serving size, it's the protein density. That is, how much protein are we getting per serving size? So for example, if I look at ATP Lab beef protein, we have a 30 gram serving, and we get 24 grams of protein out of the 30 grams. So we've got 80% purity. Okay, 80% purity out of the Supreme Beef Protein by ATP Labs. If we look at the whey isolate, by the way, not whey concentrate, whey isolate. So ATP Labs certified whey protein isolate. We have a 30 gram serving, same serving size, but we have 26 grams of protein. So we have close to a 90%, I think it's probably about 87% purity. So we have more protein in this than we do this container. They both weigh the same. Okay, both have the same amount of powder, but this one has more protein. Okay, it's more protein dense. Let's take a look at the vegetarian protein. Just quickly here, and I don't have one in front of me. I meant to grab one from the studio. So we'll take a look here. In vegetarian protein, same serving size, 30 grams. In vegetarian protein, we get 20 grams of protein in 30 grams. Very, very good for a vegetarian protein powder, but obviously you can see in terms of protein density, much less, about 67%. So that's one thing. And I'm not going to be able to get everything in this video today. So let's do as much as we can here for today. What about the amino acid? Actually, let's not go there. What's the next thing that I normally talk about? The next thing. So we look at just like we would on a food label, we look at the macronutrients. We're looking at a protein powder. We ideally, if we're buying a protein supplement, we want the most protein dense. Okay, so we look at the macronutrient profile, the nutrient profile. And then from there, what do we look at next? We go to ingredients. We want to see what's in it. Okay, so when we look at something like the whey protein, the most protein dense, generally speaking, when you're looking at a protein powder, you do not want a lot of additives. Okay, and that's not always the case because sometimes a protein powder can have like 5 different kinds of protein in it. Ultimately, we just don't want a bunch of junk in there. Okay, so when we look at this is actually the beef protein. Look at the whey protein here. When we look at the whey protein, the most dense one here in terms of ingredients, we have, where are the ingredients here? Okay, we have whey protein isolate. And then we have organic cocoa. Then we have organic flavoring. Then we have xanthine gum, which is just simply, xanthine is just a fiber. It's a fiber that is, it's produced via bacteria. And the bacteria name is very similar to xanthine. That's where the xanthine comes from. It's just a fiber. Okay, and it's actually the same bacteria that makes this fiber is the same bacteria that you find on some of the fruits and vegetables when they go brown. I know it may not sound very appetizing, but that's where it comes from, and it essentially works as a thickening agent. Okay, but you can just think of it as fiber. It is fiber. And finally, organic stevia. Okay, so we've got how many ingredients? Including the whey protein isolate that's in here, just the raw whey, we've got 4 other ingredients. So this is why this product is so good. Very few ingredients, tastes really good, high purity. When we look at the beef protein, let's take a look at how many ingredients are in here. We can expect a little bit more with beef protein. So we've got grass-fed bovine collagen hydrolysate. Then we have beef bone broth protein. So we've got 2 different kinds of proteins here. We have modified food starch. So this is going to be a carbohydrate. We have organic flavoring. We have dextrin. This is going to be something else for something that's going to help with the sweetening. We have fractionated coconut oil, xanthine gum again, organic stevia, organic monk fruit. For a beef protein, amazing. Why would you use beef protein over, say, whey? Why not? You know, whey is more pure. Whey has got less ingredients. Whey seems to be much better than beef. Whey is also higher in the essential amino acids, including branched chain amino acids. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Why would you use this? Well, because you might have an allergy. Some people have allergies to certain foods. And there is somebody in this challenge who has an allergy to whey, and they use the beef protein. So that's one reason why, that would be one good reason why you would have the beef over the whey. Okay, how about the vegetarian protein? How are we doing for time here? 8 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna get into that tomorrow. Okay, I know this is a bit of a long video. Let's get to the message of the day. On this day 43, this is you versus you. This is you versus you. Focus on yourself. You'll always see somebody who you perceive as better than you. You'll always find somebody who perhaps has better genetics than you. You'll always have somebody who you think does X, Y, and Z, and how do they get away with it. But true or not true, better genetics than you, which genetics don't make that much of a difference, to be honest with you. Not when it comes to your fat metabolism, generally speaking. You're always going to see a difference with different people, okay? But the point is that it doesn't help you, okay? It doesn't help you at all. You've got to focus on yourself, and you've got to look at the things that are going to help you. That is the focus. It's like you've got to stay in your lane. You've got to stay in your lane. And believe me when I say this, I suffer from this immensely. Maybe not when it comes to fat loss or whatever, or diet, because this is sort of my strong area, but I got many weaknesses in my life. Same thing with me. I always remind myself, you got to stay in your lane. You got to stay focused on what you're doing, not looking at what other people are doing. Stay focused on you. Look at the areas you can improve upon and start chipping away. You don't have to go from 0 to 100. Okay, you just got to take small steps. Small steps, make them a habit, and then soon enough, once you've tackled that small step and you've implemented it in terms of a permanent change, then we move on to the next thing. This is you versus you. focus on yourself. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself for the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. I'm sorry for these videos starting to get a little bit longer. More on protein tomorrow, protein powder.